What if Deku had all for one? Chapter 12. Deku sat in the dorms nursing his headache he had gotten from fighting Mirio. He couldn't even call it a fight really. All of Class 1A had been completely destroyed by their upperclassmen. Even with their extra quirks, they couldn't even hit him. He was incredible. So, I should look into these work studies they were talking about. I can't go to Gran Torino, but maybe he knows someone. Deku pulled out his phone and called up the old hero. Work studies, huh? I know someone, but he won't like you, said Gran Torino. What do you mean? He's never met me, said Deku. He's All Might's former sidekick. They separated after his fight with All For One, said Gran Torino. Deku understood. My quirk is the issue, said Deku. I'm sorry, kid. All For One has made it difficult for some to trust you completely, said Gran Torino. No, it's okay. I'll just have to work that much harder to prove myself, said Deku. Very good. I don't have Night-Eye's contact info, so you'll have to ask All Might, said Gran Torino. Deku hanged up. After explaining himself to All Might, he was more formally introduced to Mirio, who offered to take him to meet Sir Nighteye. The two stepped out of Deku's portal in front of the agency. Wow, that's impressive. You really only needed the address? Said Mirio. Deku smiled. Thanks, man, said Deku. The two walked inside and up the stairs, then came out of the office. Deku pushed open the door, seeing Nighteye sat at the desk. Thank you, Mirio. Can you wait outside? said Nighteye. Mirio nodded, leaving the room. Hello, sir. I am... Deku was cut off. I know exactly who you are. You are the second All For One, and I'm supposed to trust you for some reason, said Nighteye. I'm a hero. I've only ever used my power for good, said Deku. Really? What about that time with your classmate? Asked Nighteye. Deku was shocked. Didn't think I would know about that. I've been keeping an eye on you, Midoriya. I also remember Eraserhead saying that you only used your All For One as a last resort, but you've made 3 visits to Tartarus to pick up quirks. Sounds to me that someone is getting a little power hungry. You got a taste for one, and now you need them all, said Nighteye. That's not the case. I just wanted to protect my friends. Nighteye shrugged. Okay, here's the deal. I don't like you, but I think I can use you. If you really want to do some good, you will stay. Either way, I don't care, said Nighteye. Deku nodded. Good, now get changed into your costume. We're going on patrol, said Nighteye. Deku walked out of the room to see happy face of Mirio. Well, sir, how did he do? Asked Mirio. We'll be keeping him for now, said Nighteye. Nighteye glared at Deku. As long as he can maintain his usefulness, said Nighteye. Deku gulped. A few hours passed and Deku and Mirio were on patrol. Is Nighteye always that intense? Asked Deku. Not really. I think you're just a special case. Do you know why? Asked Mirio. He doesn't like my quirk, said Deku. Who wouldn't like portals? Asked Mirio. That's not my only quirk, said Deku. Mirio looked at Deku confused. Did you not hear? I can steal quirks. I'm not sure how many I've even got right now, said Deku. Ah, cool power. You can get stronger with each battle. I'm jealous, said Mirio. Mirio laughed, patting Deku on the back. Nobody's been this chill about my power before. Most people just look at me like I'm a freak, said Deku. Well, with that power, you'll be insanely powerful really quickly. So don't worry about what they think. Just make sure you do the right thing, said Mirio. As Mirio said that, a small girl ran into Deku and fell to the ground. Oh, I'm sorry, said Deku. Deku bent down and saw the bandages covering her arms and legs. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry for Eri. My daughter can be so careless, said Overhaul. Neighbours, do you mind being quieter? I'm trying to record. Shut up. Mirio instantly recognised their target and pushed Deku's hood over his head. Careful, my friend, your hood fell down again. And don't worry about it, sir. We should have been more careful, said Mirio. Mirio, her arms, said Deku. Mirio shook his head. What happened to her? Why the bandages? Asked Deku. Like I said, she's careless. She hurts herself sometimes when she plays, said Overhaul. It's a lot of damage from just playing, said Deku. Come on, don't be mean. Please don't mind him, said Mirio. So, what agencies do you belong to? Said Overhaul. Oh, we're just students, far too lowly to be claiming to be part of an agency. We're just using our internships to get some experience. Speaking of, come on partner, we need to finish patrolling this sector by lunch, said Mirio. Mirio began to walk off but when Deku tried to stand, Eri wouldn't let go of him. Please, don't go, begged Eri. Sorry sir, but your daughter seems to be scared, said Deku. A reaction to being scolded. You really shouldn't be making assumptions about people, said Overhaul. Yeah, everyone's different, said Mirio. What are you doing to this girl? Asked Deku. Overhaul sighed. This situation is kind of embarrassing. I'd prefer if we could discuss it where we won't be overheard, said Overhaul. Overhaul walked into the alley behind him, followed closely by Deku and Mirio. Children are tricky, so determined to do whatever they want, said Overhaul. Overhaul went to take off his gloves when Eri jumped out of Deku's arms and ran over to him. Have you finished your little temper tantrum? Asked Overhaul. Eri nodded. The two walked off. Deku tried to follow, but Mirio stopped him. Don't. He was ready to get violent. That's why she left, said Mirio. Deku gritted his teeth in rage. A few minutes later, they met up with Nighteye and explained the situation. He has a daughter? Asked Nighteye. Meanwhile, Overhaul had returned to his hideout. Damn it. That was definitely him, wasn't it? That was the other awful one. I need to kill him, said Overhaul. A few weeks passed, and heroes decided it was time to raid the hideout. The heroes and police gathered outside the hideout. We have a warrant. Open up, said the police. The police officer was cut off, and the massive villain smashed through the gate. I'll take him down quickly, said Deku. Deku fell through a portal and landed on the villain's back. Deku slapped his palm onto his forehead and activated Awful One. No one will slow me down today, said Deku. Before anyone could process what happened, the massive villain fell to the ground unconscious. Deku stood on his back. Let's go, said Deku. The police and heroes rushed inside, smashing through the outer guards. They swarmed through the building and down into the basement. Suddenly they turned a corner and the corridor ended. Nighteye, you said this was the path, said the police. I'll take a look, said Mirio. Mirio walked through the wall and poked his head back out. It's just a wall. The path continues on behind it. Deku smirked, activating muscle augmentation. Then let's smash through, said Deku. With one punch, Deku destroyed the wall, clearing the path. The squad ran down the corridor when a piece of wall jumped out, targeting Aizawa. Before Aizawa could be crushed, though, Fat Gum jumped in the way. He tumbled down into the basement. What the? Asked Kirishima. Red, what are you doing here? Asked Fat Gum. I jumped in to save Aizawa, said Kirishima. Kirishima's head snapped forward. Someone was sprinting towards them from the front, ready to punch them. All Might gave me his power. It's time to make him proud, thought Kirishima. Kirishima gritted his teeth and made his body as hard as possible. 10%, yelled Kirishima. Kirishima's and Rappa's fists smashed into each other, knocking them both backwards. That was a good punch, kid, said Rappa. They both looked down at their hand and saw them smoking. Got another one in ya? Said Rappa. Rappa lunged at Kirishima, punching him in the chest and then in the head. Kirishima felt the pain, but his hardening was strong enough to keep up. Kirishima put up his guard, dodging a right hook from Rappa and then countering with a powerful punch to the ribs. Rappa clutched his chest before bringing his elbow down on Kirishima's head. Rappa immediately jumped back in pain as he had stabbed his arm on the spiky boy's head. You're incredible, kid. Strength and defense, said Rappa. Fat Gum stood behind Kirishima, his mouth hanging open. He knew Kirishima was tough, but this was incredible. Okay, keep up with this, said Rappa. Rappa charged again. He was faster this time and pummeled Kirishima over and over again. All Kirishima could do was cover his face with his arms as he was mercilessly beaten. Damn it, my hardening is starting to break, said Kirishima. Suddenly, Kirishima was thrown back. He looked up to see Fat Gum had taken his place. I need to get back in there. There isn't any time to hold back. 20%, yelled Kirishima. The sparks around Kirishima grew, and his hardening grew stronger. Kirishima shot forward, blasting air out behind him. The young hero spotted a second villain who put several force fields in front of him, but they were quickly smashed. Rubber saw Red Riot bearing down on him and stopped pummeling Fat Gum. Come on, give me your best, yelled Rapper. A massive force field appeared in front of the two. Red Gauntlet, yelled Kirishima. Fat Gum smirked. Most of his fat had been turned into energy and his hands were shaking. The two heroes yelled, launching their fists into the barrier, shattering it and knocking out the villains. Meanwhile, Deku jumped into the air and grabbed Mimic out of the wall. With a quick punch, he knocked him out. The group continued running until they came to the main chamber. Deku smashed through the wall and they saw a horrifying sight. Mirio was covered in blood and was protecting Eri. Overhaul's eyes went wide when he spotted Deku enter the room. You? You're the hero awful one, asked Overhaul. Deku turned, looking at Overhaul. That's not the hero name I chose, but whatever. So, you know who I am, and you know what I can do, said Deku. You are nothing compared to him, yelled Overhaul. I'll take care of him. Nighteye, get Mirio and Eri out of here, said Deku. Overhaul screamed, slamming his hand on the ground. Massive jagged rocks shot towards Deku, but he didn't even flinch as they tore through him. Deku smirked as he powered up his arm, smashing through the rocks. Instantly his wounds across his body healed, and Deku kept walking towards Overhaul. We know what you're doing to that girl. I'm going to make you pay for every drop of her blood, said Deku. Overhaul shot another rock blast towards Deku. This time, Deku held out his hand, firing several powerful air blasts forward. They tore through the rocks, smashing into Overhaul. You're just too weak to stop me, said Deku. Deku fired a blade tooth forward, stabbing into Overhaul's shoulder. The villain screamed in pain, but then disassembled his arm, fixing it. When he looked back up, however, Deku was gone. Where did you go? Asked Overhaul. Behind you, said Deku. Overhaul spun around just in time to meet Deku's fist to his nose. How many times did you kill her? Hundreds? Thousands? Answer me, yelled Deku. Deku kicked Overhaul in the chest, sending him back. Ultimate move, said Deku. Deku's fists grew, and several small portals formed around him. Dimensional smash, yelled Deku. Deku shot his fists into all of the portals over and over again with all his force. On the other side of the room, Overhaul was being pummeled by the phantom fists. No, said Overhaul. Overhaul quickly turned, managing to grab one of Deku's punches before it hit. You die, said Overhaul. His quirk spread up Deku's arm in a fraction of a second, but Deku was quicker. He slammed the portal shut, cutting off his own hand. You know, I thought this would be way harder. Maybe if I let your underlings get up, you could give me a challenge, said Deku. Overhaul looked up, seeing his two underlings slumped against the wall. They haven't been hit. What did you do? Asked Overhaul. Oh, I've been draining their stamina from before the fight started. They are my personal batteries. Now, Cheesaki, are you ready to become quirkless? Asked Deku. With a cruel crackle, Awful One's crimson lightning bolts snaked up Deku's arms. Like a deer facing down a lion, Overhaul felt a deep fear. I need to run, said Overhaul. Overhaul slammed his hand into the ground, creating a rock elevator below him. As it rose, Deku jumped into the air. He was right in Overhaul's face when he swung his fist. You aren't going anywhere, said Deku. Deku punch smashed into Overhaul's face, sending him spiraling to the ground. He instantly shot spikes back at Deku, who batted them aside. Deku walked over, his eyes now glowing red with the energy of Awful One. Hold still, said Deku. Meanwhile, Eri managed to work free of Aizawa's grip. She sprinted away back down the corridor. She ran back into the main room to a shocking sight. Overhaul was on his knees, barely conscious, as Deku grabbed his forehead. Deku let go, and Overhaul's unconscious body fell to the ground. You got your wish, Shizuki. You were so obsessed with making the world quirkless, said Deku. Deku turned, seeing Eri standing in the door. Aizawa ran around the corner and saw Overhaul defeated. Good job, said Aizawa. Deku smiled, then crouched down next to Eri. Don't worry, you're safe now. He will never hurt you again, said Deku. The injured and Eri were taken to the hospital for treatment. Deku walked into Mirio's hospital room and saw him smiling out of the room. I'm sorry about your quirk, man, said Deku. It's okay, said Mirio. Do you want me to give you a new one? Like, have a bit of dramatic irony and I can give you all overhauls, said Deku. The two laughed, but Mirio shook his head. I'm going to help take care of Eri, and it would be wrong to be around her with that quirk, said Mirio. Deku nodded. And anyway, they figured out that Eri's quirk was to rewind time. Maybe one day she can bring back my power. Deku smiled and put his hand on Mirio's shoulder. If you ever change your mind, give me a ring, said Deku. As Deku said that, the door was thrown open and Mirio's dad walked in. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude, Mirio's dad said. It's okay, Dad. Midoriya, this is my father, said Mirio. Deku shook his hand. It's a pleasure, said Deku. Did I interrupt your conversation? He said. Oh, don't worry. I was just asking if Mirio wanted me to replace his quirk with a different one. Mirio's jaw hit the floor. Oh my god, you're the kid who fought with All Might in Camino, said Mirio's dad. He began shaking Deku's hand more vigorously. If you can really take and give people's quirks, I have a request, said Mirio's dad. Deku looked at him confused. Me and my son have had the same quirk. Mine will be a little weaker because I haven't trained it like he has, but I want you to give it to him, said Mirio's dad. Mirio looked at his dad with shock and pride. Tears came to his eyes as he hugged him. Deku smirked, placing his hands on their heads. Just relax, said Deku. A few minutes later, Mirio ran into Nighteye's room with a massive smile on his face. Hello, Mirio, how are you feeling? Asked Nighteye. Amazing, watch this, said Mirio. Mirio immediately fell through the ground and popped back out. Nighteye was shocked beyond words. But your quirk, the doctor said it was completely gone, said Nighteye. It's all because of Deku. My dad offered me his quirk, said Mirio. Deku walked in smiling. Nighteye walked over, putting his hand on Deku's shoulder. I think I was wrong about you, Midoriya. Thank you, said Nighteye. The next morning, Deku woke up. It was the weekend, so when he went downstairs, only a few people were awake. One of those people was a Yaoyorozu who was making a cup of tea. Good morning, Midoriya. Do you want a cup of tea? asked Yaoyorozu. No thanks. Do you remember when I gave everyone else in the class an extra quirk? Asked Deku. Yes, you said you couldn't find one for me, said Yaoyorozu. That's not the case anymore, said Deku. Yaoyorozu's eyes went wide. Really? What kind of quirk? Asked Yaoyorozu. It will allow you to destroy and reabsorb your creations, said Deku. Oh yes, that would be perfect, said Yaoyorozu. I must warn you though, this power is incredibly powerful, and can easily kill, said Deku. I accept the challenge, said Yaoyorozu. She closed her eyes and Deku put his hand on her head. With a quick flash of All for One, the quirk was passed on. A few weeks passed and it was time for the UA Cultural Festival. Class 1A had decided that they were going to do a dance concert. But the day before, Deku realised that the rope he was going to use to hold up Aoyama was frayed and could potentially break. Don't worry, I'll get some in the morning, Deku said. Early in the morning, Deku walked through a portal, arriving at the hardware store. After buying the stuff he needed, Deku walked back outside and got ready to open another portal. However, when he did, a shock caused someone to jump back in surprise. Careful, my dear boy, you almost ruined the taste of Gold Tips Imperial, said Gentle. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, said Deku. Hang on, I know that voice, thought Deku. A powerful quirk. Don't tell me he's from UA, thought Gentle. The man began walking away, but stopped when Deku spoke. You're Gentle criminal, aren't you? Asked Deku. Gentle smiled, taking off his mask. Yes, my dear boy, it is I, said Gentle. If you're thinking of attacking my school, you will dearly regret it, said Deku. Oh, and how are you going to stop me? Asked Gentle. Gentle, I recognize this guy. He's the kid with the same power as All For One, said La Brava. Gentle gulped, looking at Deku. He could see Deku's muscles expand. A good day to you, said Gentle. The villain elasticated the floor and jumped away. That child is rather scary, said Gentle. Suddenly, silver liquid wrapped around Gentle Criminal and he appeared back in front of Deku. Do you like my new quirk? It's called warping. A little gift I stole from All For One. Now, when I combine it with my warp gate quirk, you can't escape, no matter where you run, said Deku. Deku's eyes flashed red for a second, and Gentle Criminal gulped. Deku leaned in towards him. Do you see that police officer over there? Asked Deku. Gentle Criminal nodded. Turn yourself in, unless you want me to make both of you quirkless, said Deku. Gentle Criminal nodded, walking over to the police car. Good, said Deku. Deku enjoyed the rest of the festival. He sat in the dorm afterwards, thinking to himself. Ever since All For One, for All Might Camino, people have been thinking about me differently, especially the villains. Deku smirked. I can use his reputation for myself. Well, I stole everything else from him. Why not this? End of chapter 12. We did it, guys. We finished a What If. It took so long, but we managed to do it. This part was a little bit harder than most of the other ones because Season 4 has a very rigid structure and doesn't really allow for many differences and overall changes to the story. But I hope you still enjoyed it. When we finish What If Goku, which will probably be next episode probably, maybe another one, we will be starting a brand new What If, which will be what if Deku was a firebender, which will be really, really fun. I think I'm going to love it. I love you all very much. Stay safe.